Hello and welcome to a somewhat unplanned episode of Trans Trucking Talk. I'm Rose. If you didn't already know, we're going to be carrying on with American Truck Simulator. I'm going to turn it down slightly. Give me a few seconds. Hang on. Because that is loud. Let's put it about here. I don't know what it's going to sound like in-game, but that should be a bit better for you guys. So I haven't done one of these in a long time. It's going to take me a sec to get back into the game and work out how it all works, where we are, that sort of thing. Okay, game change detected. Sure thing. Okay, we've got our controller. We have our truck here. It's currently grey. We've got a Kenworth. I don't think we have our own trailer or anything, but we do have a truck. So, job market. We're going to look at the freight market. We're currently outside of Phoenix, so we'll do Phoenix to San Diego, if that sounds good. We'll take some forklifts. So, the reason I wanted to make this video, I'm currently recording this on Friday the 6th of December. It's my brother's birthday today. But back in September, I had an appointment with a surgeon. And I decided to get surgery. Let's just work out where we need to go here. Let's take the parking brake off. We need to turn right out of here. So this way is fine. Just ignore the fact we're crashing into things. This is going to be the most pointed turn. So back in September, I had an appointment with a surgeon for an initial consultation. That's not what I wanted. I'm just trying to work out how to put the wipers on. Is that R? Let me just look this up quickly. This is, like I said, I haven't played this in a long time. It's, wipers are P. Okay. Got it. So I had this appointment in London, and I went to talk to him. We're gonna pull out in front of that guy and be generally annoying. Okay. So I went to talk with him. His name is Dr. James Bellringer. He's a fairly prominent surgeon here in the UK. And I had an initial consultation for surgery, which at the time I thought I wanted. I'll get more into it, but I had another appointment on the 4th of November, which was a Monday. We've got to stop here. Nothing's coming. I hope nothing's coming. So, moving up to this appointment, I had, after my first appointment I was very excited. I was also scared, which is normal. Anyone that I know that has had surgery told me that that was normal. But I was mostly excited. Coming up to this appointment on November the 4th, I was terrified. I was no longer at all excited at the prospect of surgery. But I had been kind of pushing that back because I thought, oh, it'll be fine. I'm sure I still want it, which, like, Anyway, coming up to the 4th of November, I got into a really bad place. I was not doing well. Oh, we're turning right here. Helps if I pay attention to where we're going. So I ended up, there was one night I was awake at sort of 4, 5 a.m. crying my eyes out because I didn't know what to do. The next day I talked to my mum about it, cried some more. Oh, it's the limit's changed. Okay. There we go. We're on cruise control now, so I should be able to talk a bit better. So I told my mum, I was like, I don't want to have surgery anymore, but I also don't want to disappoint anyone, because that's just who I am. I want everyone else to be okay. I want everyone else to be happy. I don't want to disappoint people. I hate disappointing people. It's the worst for me. So I told her this. She was like, don't be an idiot. You're not disappointing anyone. If you don't think this is the right decision for you right now, then don't do it. So on the Monday, the day of my appointment, I called up the clinic in London that I was meant to be going to and said, hey, I'm not going to be coming today, and I'm not going to have surgery. They were fine with it, but oh, okay, you're letting me out. That's very kind, because you should not have had to do that. So I just wanted to talk a bit more in depth about that in this video. I talked about it some on stream today. I cried on stream today talking about it. So I guess I'll go properly from the beginning. I'm making this now because my date for surgery was the 9th of December, which is this coming Monday. It's going to be a tough day for me, I think. So if you're seeing this and you do know me, if you have any extra like hugs or whatever to give me on Monday, they would be more than appreciated. Back in May of last year, really, I've overshot that a bit. Let's back this up. This is much louder now. Okay. I think it was May of last year, sometime, or May of this year, sometime around then, I had the first appointment for surgery. This was at my gender clinic, and this was my usual clinician seeing me, deciding whether I was sort of well informed enough to have surgery. She signed me off. I had another appointment. No, the first appointment was in like March or February with my usual clinician. Then I had another appointment with a different doctor. And he also signed me off. He was happy that I knew what I was asking for, basically. And at the time I did, and I was happy to go ahead with it. So I had this appointment in September. I just want to talk sort of a bit about what the appointment was like. And it's important to note that this appointment didn't change my mind. I changed my mind after this appointment. When it was starting to get closer to the date. I'm going to turn my wipers off. Oh, hell. Right, there we go. So, are you letting me go as well? Okay, you are. Let's pull into this outside lane here. So I travelled to London on this one day in September, and my dad and stepmom were free that day, so they suggested meeting up for lunch. Oh, it's gone down to 25. They suggested meeting up for lunch, and then they'd take me to the appointment, which was, honestly, I'm glad that they were there for me. I think I'd have been too scared, or I'd have been a lot less comfortable going in on my own. And I thought I wanted to go in on my own right until like 2 minutes before my scheduled appointment time, when I was like, actually, can you come in with me? It's changing to 65. Okay. So we had lunch at a pub. I had a fish finger sandwich. It was very nice. We travelled across London by tube, out to where this clinic is. I think 55's our max speed here. I don't think we can accelerate further than that. Okay, we'll do that then. So yeah, we travelled across London and arrived at the clinic, and we got in and got signed in, and that was fine. We had about 15 minutes to wait beforehand. I can't remember if beforehand we had to fill any forms in or anything. It's going down to single lane and to 50. So yeah, I don't remember if we had to fill any forms in or anything beforehand. This was back in September, so it was a while ago. Everything is really slow right now. So we went into the appointment and met Dr. Bellringer, who was very friendly, and he was easy to talk to about everything. He was asking questions, and I didn't feel uncomfortable answering them. He had an assistant with him of some description. I can't remember exactly what the words were used. But essentially the appointment was him making sure that I knew what I wanted, that I knew there were other options other than the procedure I wanted, which I did. So I had done like copious amounts of research on the surgery. He was like, okay, have you heard of this complication? I was like, yeah, it's where this happens. He was like, okay, not many people know what that is when they come to my office. And I'm like, yeah, I'm anxious. I research everything far too much. Oh, that one's just stopping in the middle of the damn freeway for me. Okay. So he went through the risks of the procedure with me. He also, they have to perform a very quick physical examination just so they know what they're working with. And that was the bit I was most anxious about, was that because I have a lot of dysphoria surrounding my lower regions, shall we say. But the examination took about 5 seconds. I sat on the bed, swung my legs round, and was lying down. I pulled my leggings down, and he examined me for about 5 seconds, while his assistant was taking notes. 65 is as fast as we can go, I think. We're currently not speeding, but these vehicles are slow. Okay, we'll have to slow down to 60. Let's pull out here. So yeah, the physical examination was something that I'd made into much more of a stressor than it actually was on the day, which I'm really glad for. I'm glad that wasn't the stressful part. We then, once we finished the appointment, we went outside back into the waiting room, and we answered. I had to fill in a whole questionnaire, just sort of about my health in general. This truck has suddenly sped up on the inside of us now. That's really frustrating. So, yeah, I had a whole... It was like 15 pages or something to fill out, just medical history, like literally everything about me physically, and mentally, which was fine. We managed to do that. Like, that wasn't too bad to fill out. There were some parts where I was like, my dad doesn't know the answer to this one that I'm about to put, because my dad was sat next to me at this point, and my stepmom was sat on the other side. Okay, that truck is going to slow down now, I think. So we should be able to pass all of these vehicles. Because there's a slow one up ahead. So... yeah. I filled out all this paperwork and took it to the reception desk, and the receptionist just double checked I'd filled everything in and then gave me a date for surgery. She said, when do you want it? I said, as soon as you can. She was like, okay, we can fit you in the last day of the year that you can get it done, which was the 9th of December. I was like, yes, perfect, let's do it. So I was very excited after this. I was scared, because surgery, especially like such a major surgery, is always scary. But I was happy to go ahead with everything. So we left the clinic with a date for surgery and this date of November the 4th for a pre-surgery assessment, I think they called it. Something like that. Let's put our headlights on, because it's starting to get dark. So we left the surgery, the clinic, travelled back across London to the centre of London, and had pizza for dinner, which was nice. And then I got on the train and headed home. Over the next week or so, I started telling a couple of people, like, not many, but a couple. Like, I told my immediate family, and my dad and my mum told their sides of the extended family as well. And I also told a couple of very close friends, and everyone was really excited for me and happy that this was the... they were happy that I had a date for something I wanted. So in the next sort of month or so after that, I started telling a few more people. For anyone who doesn't know, I stream on Twitch. I'm very present in the Twitch community, and I moderate for a few streams on Twitch as well. So I got into contact with the streams I moderated for and let them know that I was planning to have this surgery in December, because I wouldn't be around like as much or as consistently, and like I don't take the responsibility of modding lightly. It's not something I'm just like, oh haha, I'm a moderator. If I'm a moderator, I try to show up as much as I can, I try to be there as much as I can, and I try to do the job of moderation as best as I can. So I wanted to let these people know, and all of them were also very excited and happy for me, which honestly was really good. I think I needed that at that point, because if I'd have told people and they were like, oh okay, cool, that would have been like, I mean, that might have brought me to the decision not to have surgery earlier than I already came to it. I think the other people's excitement for it as well helped keep my excitement intact, which I'm grateful for, honestly, because I think it would have been much more difficult for me to realise earlier, I guess. the fact that it was a we can still go 65 here. The fact that it was a more gradual realization, I think, helped me process it a bit better. Whereas if people had been not so excited and I decided really soon after the first appointment, okay, we need to find a sleeping spot here. If I'd have decided a lot sooner after the first appointment, I think I'd have felt a lot worse about it. And I still felt really bad about it. I had a couple of days where I barely left my bed, because I was exhausted from thinking about it constantly, being so scared of it. But yeah, I think the more gradual realization helped. So I told all these people, and then decided to keep it quiet until I'd had this pre-surgical assessment. And then I'd tell everyone on Twitter. I'd planned to make another video of this anyway, so that people knew what was going on, and why I'd be disappearing from my stream and such. So fast forward to about midway through October, I started getting to the point where I knew I was getting more scared about it. I didn't know why I was getting more scared about it, but I was. And I was starting to get less excited about it. Things started to get kind of difficult. I went through a period of time where I had very little energy. I was continuing to stream as well as I could 5 days a week. It hasn't been properly 5 days a week in quite a while, I think, because I have to listen to sort of my body and my brain telling me if I need to take a break on any given day. But I try to stream 5 days a week, and in an ideal world where I was in perfect health, then I would. But that dropped down to maybe once or twice a week, which is far lower than what I usually do, even if I'm having difficult weeks. So I knew something was up. I wasn't entirely sure why it was up, but something was up. We're going to turn off here, I think, to this fuel station, just so we can sleep, and then we'll get back on the road again in the morning. So, yeah, I had a couple of weeks where I was extremely stressed. I was extremely tired. Like, I was exhausted. And I was not doing very well, in any sense of the word. Okay, let's fill up here. We might as well fill up while we're here. So, this couple of weeks was really difficult. I was doing a lot of thinking in that time, and I didn't tell anyone. I was so scared to let everyone down by deciding not to have surgery. I don't know why I thought I was going to let everyone down. But in my head I was like, oh well, I've told them that I'm going to do this, now I have to do it. And which isn't the case. If you are allowed to change your mind at any point in the process. I just wasn't very good at telling myself that. So it got to a point. It got to the 1st of November, the Friday. That night was the night I really started, like, thinking, okay, I need to do something about this because I am not okay. So I was up pretty much all night. I ended up, I think I was like crying for a good hour or two about it, just unsure what to do. And I decided, okay, I'll talk to my mum about it tomorrow because I'm obviously not okay. I need some help with this. Which, a couple of years ago, I wouldn't have been able to do. It would have been a big step. It would have been a much more difficult thing for me to do. Because I'm not very good at asking for help. With anything, I never have been. Because I think partly because I never needed help, like as a young kid in school or anything, I was always fine. I was always like good at my classes, and I think I just sort of conditioned myself to not want to ask for help. And so the next day I didn't stream, I don't think. I just tried to keep myself as comfortable as possible that day, and just thought, okay, I'll talk to Mum this evening. Well, no, it was a Saturday, that was it. So I didn't have to wait till the evening, but she was out during the day going swimming. And so I went downstairs to talk to her, probably about 3 or 4 in the afternoon. And I kind of bottled out. I was like, okay, no, I can't, I need to prepare myself more mentally for talking to her. Which, like, my mum is the kind of person that you can say pretty much anything to her and it won't faze her. Like, when I told her I was trans, she said, okay, do you want me to call you something different? I was like, it was the best response I could have hoped for from her. She's that sort of person. She does not blink at anything like this. But I still felt like I needed to be more prepared. So, on Saturdays we usually do the grocery shopping together. So we went and did the grocery shopping. Meanwhile, I was still not talking about any of this. We got home, I went upstairs, and I had my D&D game. I have a weekly D&D game that I run on Saturdays. So I ran that, and all throughout I was like, I don't know which session it was, but I know I wasn't paying much attention to the session. I was paying enough attention, and like, I think my players still enjoyed it, so that's what matters for me. So after the D&D game, I was like, oh, that actually I think we might have cancelled that week. I think that's it. We might not have had enough players. So it was probably like 9 o'clock at night at this point. I went downstairs to Mum. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. So I went into the lounge, already crying, because I was extremely upset about all of this, and said, Mum, I need to talk to you. And she was like, hey, what's up? And so I told her, and she said, okay. Firstly, you need to know that you're not disappointing anyone, at which I started crying again. And she was extremely reassuring and caring, and told me that if I didn't want to do it, I didn't have to. She made a plan with me. We wrote out we talked about a plan of exactly how I was going to handle this, and she was honestly reacted in the best possible way for me at that point. And she was there for me, and she listened, and she said, okay, try not to worry about it this weekend, because you can't do anything about it now. On Monday, first thing, you need to ring the clinic, because you're meant to be going to an appointment there on Monday. And I was like, okay, yeah, I know, I'll do that. Can you wake me up before you go to work, sort of thing. So that all happened fine. That weekend, I was so much less stressed. Like, oh my god, what is this one doing? We're having a snail race. Okay. That weekend, I let go of all the tension I'd been holding in my shoulders. I was so much more relaxed. I think I called my dad on the Sunday about it. It was, yeah, I think it was either the Sunday or the Monday. I called my dad and let him know as well. So we've got to go to a way station, which means we need to pull in here. So I talked to my dad about it, and he was also very reassuring. And I was like, I'm not going to tell my siblings just yet. I'm going to give myself a couple of days to calm down. So they were like, okay, that's fine. So the next week, I messaged the family group chat that I have. No, the next week I texted my brother and both my sisters about it, saying, hey, here's what's going on. Just so you know, I've decided not to have surgery anymore. So they said, all three of them were wonderful. They said, okay, if that's what you think is best for you, then I'm fully behind you in that, which also helped a lot. So after I told them, I messaged the family group chat with my step-siblings, and they said, okay, that's fine, you do you, basically. So my family reacted really well. I told a few close friends, and then I started telling the communities I moderated for that I've decided to I've changed my mind. I don't want to do this. So it was a long couple of weeks. It was a very long couple of weeks. We need to turn off here. Oh, bloody hell. We're going to have to go a different way. Because as it currently stands, we cannot get through there. Nice. We're going to have to go round. Okay, that's fine. So, yeah. I never got to a point where I told everyone on the internet that I was going to have surgery. The first time I've talked about it in a sort of public way was on my stream today. Someone asked, hey Rose, how are you doing? I was like, let's tell you all this now. Because this Monday is going to be the date that I would have had surgery. And I think it's going to be difficult for me. I'm already tearing up thinking about it. There are going to be a lot of what-ifs. I don't know what would have happened if I had surgery. I just know that I am still sure that it wasn't the right time for me to have it. That's not going to make it much easier for me to, on Monday, for me to think, oh heck, for me to think, okay, well, I would have been going into the operating theatre now. I would have been under anaesthetic by now. I would have woken up with a different body by now. It's going to be difficult. I know it's going to be difficult. So I'm going to, on Monday, do a live stream where I start at whatever point I wake up and I continue until I actually need to stop, for like whether my body is starting to hurt too much or anything like that. I'm gonna say probably about 6 hours. I've done a 6-hour live stream before and managed that okay, but if I feel like I need to go longer to keep myself distracted for longer, I'm gonna go longer to distract myself for longer. So yeah, that's going to be on this Monday the 9th. Starting whenever I wake up, I'm just going to play anything and everything that I fancy playing on that day. It's going to be a day of me trying to make myself feel as comfortable as I can. Me comforting myself as much as I can. And just making sure that I'm taking care of me, because that's what's going to be important on Monday. I don't know what that beeping is. But it's annoying me. It's probably some sort of option or something. Yeah, it's like the check engine light or something has come on. So, yeah, this is pretty much a video I wanted to just do talking about my experience of changing my mind about surgery. I think something I probably could have done is watched more videos about it. I love watching YouTube videos about things. I watched so many about surgery in the first place. I didn't see any that was sort of about people changing their minds about surgery. And I think if I'd have watched some of them, I'd have come to terms with it a bit quicker. Is my parking brake on? Is that what it is? Let's just play it safe. No. Low air pressure. Okay. I've disengaged the parking brake. Heck. Let's just go into options. Gameplay. Let's sort this out. Truck settings. Air brake simulation off. Okay. I think we can carry on. Yeah, I just wanted to make this video so that if anyone else was out there who is also having surgery but is also rethinking their decision, I hope this can be a resource for you, just so that you know someone else has gone through it. You know it's okay to make the decision that's right for you at whatever time. We'll grab a fuel economy. That's going to be it for this video. I might do another one if I get any questions, following up and answering those questions. So if there is anything else you want to know, please leave a comment down below. I know this is a bit of a longer one, so thank you for sitting through it if you have. And if you are around on Monday, I would absolutely love the company. So, yeah. Thank you, and I will see you next time.